here is the official view of the face tat fully on camera. I've been told that it's the best face tat that anyone has ever had. And yeah, you damn right. Being an indie artist is really fucking difficult. When you grow, you change, but just because you change doesn't mean you grow. If I'm going to change, I want it to be because that I grew, not because I'm changing to conform so that I could be put on, you know? So I'm back in the basement. I haven't been down here in quite some time. I just needed to rehearse without really being interrupted. And the living room is nice because it's upstairs, it's better lit, it's a little bit more ventilation, it's closer to the fridge. Today I really need a little bit more privacy, way more privacy. You know what I really wanted to talk about without ranting too much? This conversation that I had with a friend of mine who's a rapper. I'm not gonna say his name because just out of respect, because I don't have his permission to be using his name or anything like that. And I forget how we came across it, but he basically asked me, like, do I get fucked up before I like perform or like when I'm in the studio? And I told him no, right? And this is where the conversation gets interesting. Like, I told him no, and the conversation for me got interesting because it's not the fact that like I thought he was surprised that I don't. How do I explain this? How do I explain this without having to edit this fucking video 80 bajillion ways? I feel like I told him no, and I just feel like he was in just complete shock and complete awe that I don't get fucked up on stage and I don't get fucked up in the studio, right? And it started getting to a point where he just kept pressing me, like, how you, like, you don't get fucked up, you don't do nothing, I was just like, no, like, no. And it's first of all, that was very fucking annoying because it's like, I really don't need to, right? And it got me thinking, right? And before I go into this spiel, right, this abbreviated spiel, because I don't want to be like yapping anybody's ear off. There have been times where like I'll be on stage, right? Cool, chill, hipster kind of vibe, right? I have a glass of wine, I'll have a beer, I have my favorite whiskey in a glass, right? And I'll be on stage and it'll be off to the side on like a stool or something, right? And I'll take sips of it in between a couple of songs. That is not the same as what he was insinuating, right? What he was insinuating is like just completely being fucked up and being on stage, right? It's one thing to like be on stage with like a glass of wine, some beer, and like taking the sips in between versus like completely getting trashed and then hopping on stage. Completely different. So I'm gonna put out that disclaimer. Like, have I done it? Yeah, we vibing. Because to me, it's just like I'm there to share an experience with people. I'm there to share a piece of myself and a piece of my life with you. So for me, it's the equivalent of having drinks with friends, right? There's a connection factor to it. So that's really how I look at it. Now, to go into what he was kind of suggesting was this concept, this notion that why is it that I don't get fucked up like that? And it's just like, I don't need to. And it got me thinking like deeply, right? Like, what if all these artists, musicians, performers, what may have you, what if everybody's getting super fucking plastered and fucked up before performing has like stage fright? What if it's just like elevated like cases of stage fright? Because like think about it, like you get fucked up because you're trying to numb away the feelings and this and the third. You're trying to force yourself to feel good, right? And it's kind of like, what if y'all just have stage fright that you don't properly deal with? And if you look at like the main causes of stage fright and having nerves, it's the fear of like, most of it is just like the fear of judgment from others, which push gonna shove, you can't control that shit anyway. And then the other part of stage fright is the fear of just messing up, right? So it's just like, how do you combat that? And then I realized in the moment of just like really thinking about like, why is he so dead set thinking that like I'm really trash for any show that I do? And it's just like, I realized that the answer to it is just practice. You practice until you have no choice but to do it right. You feel me? And there's different ways of practicing. There's practicing in the sense of rehearsing, like at home, like the way I do. And then there's practice in the sense of like open mic nights, where it is performing, but it's not too heavily serious. Like it's not one of those like career make it or break it moments, but you get on stage and you kind of like, you practice in front of real people that have never heard or seen you. You have to do that. And it's just like guys, what if everybody just has stage fright? What if all of these, and I'm gonna use rappers as examples because I really don't know singers who really do shit like this personally. What if everybody just has like really bad cases of stage fright? Like to be fucked up before you get on stage, before you have to perform. And then on top of it, there's cats that get fucked up plastered in the studio, which is a private setting. Like, we can re-record this verse 80 million times. Why are you so drunk? You know, like, I don't get it. Or more importantly, I don't get people who have to be drunk, have to be high in order to be creative. I feel like that's kind of scary. Like, you can't create or produce content because you are not inebriated. That's scary. I have yet to come across any musician, artist that has created like long-term success off of that mindset, you know? It's a scary one. Like, you can't perform, you can't be creative unless you're under the influence. That's really scary. And I feel like a lot of people don't really address this shit. I think it's important to. Especially the young ones, you know, they're very easily like influenced, you know. And then they'll tell you that they ain't influenced. Ain't that some shit? But it just comes to the conclusion that some of y'all just really have some fucking stage fright. You have extreme elevated cases of stage fright that you're not properly dealing with. And the best way to properly deal with it is just practice and rehearse. Like, once you have that muscle memory, you have no choice but to do well. Like, even if you think you're about to forget the words, because this happens to me all the time. Like, there'll be times I'll be in the middle of the song and I don't know how or why I like space the fuck out. And I'm just like, I feel myself about to fuck up because I'm like catching myself coming back into the moment, right? Reeling it back in. And then nothing happens. I still sing the shit and I still sung the right words. Sometimes I do fuck up and nobody notices because it's like I practice to keep going. I don't ever practice to stop. You know, I try not to reinforce those bad habits. But like, if you put in the time, you put in the hours, your body will adjust, your brain will adjust, and the muscle memory will kick in for you like when you need it to, right? That I've gone through that. Like, you'd be so scared, you'd be so nervous and this, that, and the third. Or me, for some odd reason, I just fucking space out in the middle of a set. Literally in the middle of a song, I will space the fuck out. And like, I'll come back in, I'm like, oh shit. Like literally in my mind. It doesn't look that way to other people, but I know what's happening here. And I come back and muscle memory kicks in and I just keep doing it because I worked on it so much that my body is just an autopilot. That's really what it is. Like I think I spaced out because it's like I'm just in fucking autopilot. Like this song may sound really intimate and really beautiful and just like, you know, just in your feels. But like in my head, I'm just like, damn, yo, should I get a bacon burger or should I get like the flatbread pizza when I get off this bitch? Like that's really what goes on in my head. No lie. Because it's at that point, I'm on stage. I've rehearsed it so much. Whatever set I'm working on. I'm on autopilot. It's just on autopilot. So to my performers out there, practice, rehearse, get your muscle memory down, get your lyrics down. And if you're not good with lyrics and you're not a singer, have your backup rhymes. Every single rapper has that one rap, no matter how old. You just can never forget it. Everyone has it, right? If you start fucking up on stage, I'm like, you better flip into like putting out some written, some freestyles if you can. But like at that point, you know, you don't want to practice to mess up. You know, you don't want to do that. But like you definitely need to practice. And I think y'all niggas just need to fucking practice and rehearse. And not just like in the mirror with your wave brush and shit and just be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, like go to a fucking rehearsal studio or make it a point to create some type of rehearsal space in your home. You know, go to your local college and pick a practice room. You'll probably get kicked off campus from like campus police and stuff, but it'll be hours before they find you anyway, and you would have been done, so.